What up, guys? Today I want to talk about the comic Curator and why his power scaling videos are trash and why his debating style and tactics are also trash. I've been seeing a couple of his videos recently, and it's been kind of annoying me. The arguments and the statements he's been making. He's been downplaying Dragon Ball characters quite a bit, and Goku and all their feats of their universal level feats, their speed feats, even Otherworld saying that Otherworld does have time and is not a dimension without time and space or whatever. And he's been making all these ridiculous claims and also overhyping Cosmic Armor Superman. Those are his main two things that he likes to do is downplay Dragon Ball and overhype Cosmic Armor Superman. And it's been kind of annoying me, especially with all his posts, because not only is he making videos about it, he's making posts talking about and crying about how the toxic Goku fanboys are coming here and wanking him and mispower scaling him and over exaggerating his power, saying he's beyond universal levels of power and whatever. And he's stating that he's not, in Cosmic Armor Superman is the most powerful character in fiction. Even with the most recent death battle with Kratos versus Asura, they mentioned how Kratos can destroy 91,000 universes. And then he went on in that video just to shit on Goku and the Goku fans. Instead of talking about that, he went to go and say, oh, see, he could kill Goku because Goku can't even destroy a single universe, which is ridiculous at this point to still make that argument. But he is, and he's using the whole shockwaves crap, which I'll get onto that. But also another one, which is his biggest argument that he uses. And it's kind of ridiculous. And I want to go through some of his points and arguments that I've been having with him because I've also been on his I've been commenting on some of his videos and on his posts about his, arguments and his little rants and going against it and basically calling it out. The only other YouTuber I saw doing this quite a bit, and the person I saw doing this first was Drip Sauce. Drip Sauce was going after him quite a bit. I didn't know who he was at that time before Drip Sauce started calling him out until a couple of his videos started popping up. Now, I'm not saying everything he says is wrong, but I do feel like when it comes to Dragon Ball, Cosmic Armor Superman, he does get quite a bit of stuff wrong. And I want to go through some of his points that he had and some of the back and forth that I had with him on the comments and specifically in his videos as a whole. So his main argument that he keeps on using against Goku being not being universal is the fact that all the way in the Moro arc, when Moro absorbed the energy of the Angel of Mirrors, and once when he absorbed his energy, he couldn't hold the power and couldn't contain it to the point where he was about to explode. And as he was going to explode, Whis states that if he blows up, he's going to destroy probably the entire, galaxy. And he uses that argument to state that Whis himself stated that he will destroy the entire galaxy and he can't survive that and it will destroy him. And that if he is truly beyond universal, how come a galaxy level destroying attack or explosion could kill him? And there's many problems to that argument that I want to go through and his other ones that he makes later on because like I said, I did have quite a bit of back and forth with him on this. I did mention in his video, I commented. You might not see my comment as who I am because I commented with my regular YouTube account, now my creator account, so it's just my regular self. But I talked about how it was not about the galaxy destroying power; it was the planet getting destroyed, and just the magnitude of the size of the blast radius covering to such a distance that it would be hard for Goku to, get off of there or find another planet because the Earth is the most important thing. So he came out with recently he put up a post about the most legit, translations of what we stated, and he brought out the 100% authentic scans, and that was not the problem. The problem was how he read it and what he was implying. So the way when he read it was, we stated that the galaxy destroying attack would kill Goku, stating that not only do Whis mention that it would kill Goku, but also that Whis acknowledges that Goku's not that powerful. If he was that powerful, then why would Whis be, saying that? And the problem with that is he didn't read it properly because Whis never literally stated that the galaxy destroying, power explosion would kill him. All he said is that he would destroy the galaxy itself. That's it. He never stated that. I don't know where he got that from. I don't think this guy can read properly, but he keeps on saying that. And he brought out the official transcripts. And I'm like, that's not the fucking problem. The translations is not the problem. Nobody's saying you're wrong about that. What we're saying you're wrong about is what you're reading. You're literally reading it and you're getting it wrong verbatim. You're saying you're not saying the exact same thing that was stated in the fucking statement by Whis. Whis never directly stated that that would kill him. He just said that you could destroy this entire place, and Goku's like, oh shit, that's a big problem. And the bigger the reason why that would, kill Goku is the fact that it would destroy the Earth, and by destroying the Earth, he would have no oxygen and he would end up dying. That's what happened with Vegeta all the way, in the um resurrection of F arc when Frieza blew up the planet. The planet explosion didn't kill him. It was the lack of oxygen where they literally talked about. And we've heard it before quite a bit at this point, to the point where it's like they don't need to explain that anymore. We know that's the case. So he was trying to suggest it was the galaxy explosion that would kill him, the explosion alone, and not the fact that it would end up destroying the planet, which would have let them all in space and would have killed them. And we saw how quick that killed Vegeta and the rest of them, as we seen them mention. They should have lasted longer, but apparently in Dragon Ball, for some reason, they die quick. And instantly, while the planet's gone, they die instantly due to the lack of oxygen. But that was the main problem. And you notice this when you read the, chapters and what happened in there, because they only mentioned the galaxy being destroyed twice, but they mentioned the Earth being destroyed dozens of times. So why are you mentioning the Earth being destroyed multiple times, but the galaxy only twice? If the galaxy destruction is far more impressive than the planet, why are they keep on mentioning the Earth? Literally right after he said that, Goku literally states, that means the Earth is going to be destroyed. He said, yes. So then he goes about that, and then the rest of them keep on talking about the Earth itself. Why was he making that as a focal point? Of the explosion is going to destroy the entire galaxy, which is far more dangerous or far more impressive than an entire planet, then why the fuck was he so fixated on the Earth constantly? Now, some people might argue, well, because there's people on there, there's humans, and there's family on there, so that's why. But it's like, if that was the case, that it was like, what's the thing called? If it was just the case that his family was on there or whatever, um, and that he was just worried about that, he would have mentioned that a little bit more. But he was just talking about the planet being gone. And every other time when the planet was being destroyed, they didn't care about like the other people. Like usually they just say they can wish them back with the Dragon Balls, but if they die, then they can't really do that. And Krillin even, suggested that, but they were like, or Yamcha, he's like, we could just get a ship and fly off. And the Krill's like, no, this was the second time they mentioned the galaxy being destroyed. He stated that the explosion will destroy the entire galaxy. So they couldn't even get on a ship to leave the planet completely. So once again, they were fixated specifically on the planet. And the only reason they mentioned the galaxy the second time was not because of the destructive power, just the fact that the reach of the power. Like, yes, it is the destructive power, but not directly the destructive power. It was just how far the blast would go. It's like it will annihilate all the other planets, and no ship is fast enough to get out of there. And his argument for me was like, well, Goku, oh, I don't know why that would be a problem. He can use instant transmission and just teleport everybody out of there. It was like, look, I don't know if you understand how instant transmission works, but instant transmission, it only works pretty casually if he's going around the planet. If he's going large distance, like how it happened in the Buu Saga when Kid Buu dropped the blast, he can't really use it that quick. He needs to still lock on an energy signature the further the distance is, especially in astronomical distance like that. He needs to, lock onto an energy signature on another galaxy somewhere else to leave, and that takes time, and he can't keep on doing that. And we've also never seen in Dragon Ball where they use their speed in that manner. So it's ridiculous to suggest that they would never normally do that. That's just not how it works. Also, on top of it, Goku's when he heard that, is his first thought wasn't to just leave and run away. His first thought is, I need to stop this. So that's where also there's another problem with the time constraint, is due to the fact that Goku wants to stop this before it even goes off. He doesn't just want to let it go off and then try to revert what happened. He wants to prevent it from happening in the first place, which will take time. And if he fights him, and let's say he doesn't beat Moro, that would end up consuming quite a bit of the time that he could have had to save people and himself and his family to use an instant transmission on literally fighting the guy. By that point, by the point of Goku fights him, and as he's at the point where he realizes that he can't beat him in time, it'll be too short. So even the short amount of time that he had already at that point would have been even short, and even significantly more, because he would have been trying to fight him. He didn't want to run away. So that's also the reason why he couldn't just do it really quick. But yeah, it was the planet, because they mentioned it multiple times. Of the galaxy destroying attack or power was so important, if it was the thing that was going to truly kill him, then why didn't Goku just, why didn't Goku specifically mention it? Why did they mention it? Why did they mention the Earth multiple times? Like, yes, I get it. The Earth would be destroyed is important, but like the entire fucking galaxy, that's way bigger. Like, you're focusing on a small little planet compared to an entire galaxy. So it makes sense why he would, be focusing on that, because, without the planet, he will end up dying. The entire galaxy is not like that big of a deal. So it's not the power, is the oxygen. And the only reason they didn't mention that is because they've explained that before enough. They don't need to explain to us every time, unless you're completely stupid, where you need to be explained the same thing over and over and over again to the point where it's just like, when are you going to get it? What does it take for you to understand this, right? So I'll say that. Also, this is the manga. The manga and the anime are not the same thing. We all know at this point the anime version is stronger than the manga. Even though the manga got a little bit further past the Moro arc, it's still like the anime version is a different beast, completely different. So it doesn't really count. That is, you're using two separate continuities, so that's already a problem. So one is the fact that you're using the manga, not the anime, which aren't the same. Two, you're ignoring the fact that it's the lack of oxygen, which the same thing happened last time before. And then three, even if you want to say less argument, like for argument wise, that yes, the galaxy would have been able to kill him, this doesn't 100% mean that he's not universal levels in power. The reason why I say this is because of inconsistencies. There's quite a bit of inconsistencies throughout all of these worlds of fiction, right? What do we do as power skillers and debaters and people who like these versus battles, right? When we look at these stuff, we look at these low end stuff and we say this is an outlier. And if it doesn't match up with what we've seen previously or what has been shown or what has been established, then it is a contradiction and is a power scaling inconsistency. And it's not uncommon to see power scaling inconsistencies or just inconsistencies and feats in general throughout all of works of fiction and specifically Dragon Ball. I've talked about it quite a bit on this channel how bad the power scaling is in Dragon Ball Super. So usually the anime, because I haven't really read the manga thoroughly, but the manga is just the same, right? The manga also has bad power scaling moments, and he also uses one of the power scaling moments from the manga too, about the fact that Vegeta couldn't lift up Mageto, who is stated to be 1,000 tons, which we've talked about this before. That's ridiculous power scaling. It makes no sense. He should have been able to, but he's saying he can't do that, so he's not universal, which that's lifting strength, not whatever punching strength, but whatever, right? In the end of the day, that doesn't change the fact that every show and every story has their inconsistencies. And a lot of the shows with like powers, with characters with powers, there's going to be some power scaling inconsistencies there, right? Especially Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super. We've seen it quite a bit. There's a lot of inconsistencies. So you just got to take out the bad and leave in the good, right? So when you do these power scaling videos, right? If you see a feat that doesn't make sense on both spectrums, either it's overly ridiculous or it's under like completely like an anti feat and it's out of the realms of what we've been shown, then it's best to just take those as outliers. Don't take the most insane, ridiculous feats that don't match up, and don't take the most low end feats that don't match up either. Take the middle ground, because those other two are just like, sometimes writers are going to have their problems where they write stuff that don't really make much sense. So I don't think that's fair for that. But like I said, Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball, the anime and the manga both have had power scaling inconsistencies. It's not like the writing is consistent throughout all the, or in any show, in general. So that was the first one that he said. Then the shockwave stuff, they need to stop with the shockwaves. The shockwaves gets more powerful as it goes out, and that's what it was doing it. The shockwaves in general was just affecting everything. And and some people say, well, it gets more powerful as it goes out. This was just a story writing narrative, right? This was not like the reason why they did that, right, was not because what's the thing called? They didn't do that because that was what they're trying to state or show, is saying, hey, look, these shockwaves are what is doing it. It's not their power at all. It's just the shockwaves that's been generated from the power. The reason why they had the shockwaves getting stronger as the further they went out and doing this and that stuff is for two reasons. One, they wanted to make the stakes very high and very dangerous and very threatening, and the whole universe being a threat makes sense. So they had to do that. And then two, they also did not want to make it too far away from the Earth, right? We know Toriyama style. He likes to have these fights on Earth or close to Earth. He doesn't really do fights deep in space usually. So, and if they do it in space, they're going to be on just a planet. So they wanted to be close to the Earth, but they also wanted it to be a threat. So they're like saying, they were thinking that if we make them do this, universe destroying power, the shockwaves would destroy the Earth the most because it's the closest, right? But we can't have that happening because we have to have them. We have to have them fighting on Earth or close to Earth, right? But we also can't have Earth being destroyed. But we also need the stakes. to be high. So they created this whole BS, shockwaves that go further out, and they get stronger as they go on. But remember, after this, when Goku and Beerus clash and their energy combines, that energy that combined was already stated to be have enough power to destroy the entire universe without the shockwaves. Just the explosion itself was able to destroy the entire universe, and Beerus was able to nullify that. So at that point, the shockwaves didn't even matter because the blast explosion of the blast that they had was going to do that, and Beerus was able to nullify it. And that version of Beerus that nullified it was far weaker than the Goku we have now at this point, right? And even though he said he used 100% of his power, that was obviously a lie because he said he was using 100% power later on anyway, and that was also not true. So he was clearly holding back significantly, so he has more power than that. And even the narrator stated that Goku in Super Saiyan has the power to destroy the entire universe. He's hitting with the power to destroy the universe, and Goku is able to also able to cancel out the collisions and the shockwaves by hitting in the right area. So he showcased with his own strength. So that already disproves that argument. And it's ridiculous at this point to be arguing against that, but it's crazy. But apparently some people still do. And it's funny that he was overwanking Cosmic Armor Superman. And when I was calling out Cosmic Armor Superman's power, he's like, no, he's actually this powerful. So I'm like, so you won't accept Goku's universal, but you will accept he's this powerful and that powerful or whatever, right? And I want to go into that a little bit, but I still want to talk a little bit about his, Goku downplay about like the whole galaxy thing and the universe thing. He doesn't just do it for that. He does it multiple times. He does it for the Otherworld too, which I will get into that. But I just want to get into his Cosmic Armor Superman one. So I mentioned, talked about Cosmic Armor Superman because I was like, if you're going to try to call out Dragon Ball and try to downplay them and the characters and their power, I can do the same thing with Cosmic Armor Superman. And I mentioned how the fact that he got hurt by the power of 10 billion suns, and his rebuttal was actually it was the heat of 10 billion suns. And I was like, well, that's even less impressive because at least the explosion of 10 billion suns is way more dangerous and deadly than the heat of 10 billion suns. And that sounds like a lot, but remember, in our galaxy, there's around like 200 to 400 billion stars in our galaxy alone. And he was only hit by the heat of 10 billion, and that did some damage to Cosmic Armor Superman. Yet he's supposed to be a character who's so powerful that he can control and warp the narrative and reality, and he's also outerversal and all this other stuff and considered one of the most powerful beings in all fiction. So if he's that powerful, that shouldn't have been able to hurt him. So his argument was, well, it was not just the heat of 10 billion suns, but also the bleed of 52 universes. Now I was like, well, how do you even calculate the bleed of 52 universes? That's kind of a ridiculous thing to, state that there's a bleed of 52 universes that you're going to calculate. How are you going to supposed to do that? And then he's like, you still think that he's like, people still believe that the bleed doesn't have a destructive amount of force. And he showed me a scan, which he did disprove me on that regard. I'll give him that. I was wrong on that because I was like, how do you even quantify the amount of destructive power the bleed has? Like it's an infinite dimension that houses the multiverse, all the 52 universes. So how would that be considered powerful? I guess destroying the place would be considered powerful, but how do you use an infinite empty dimension and take that power and do that? But he did prove me wrong on that regard. But he did say something ridiculous after that with that. And something else before that, he said ridiculous. He said that the heat of the 10 billion suns actually wasn't real heat. So it isn't that weak. It was a metaphorical. He's saying that Grant Morris, who's the guy who wrote the story and stuff, he wrote this other book called Super Gods or something like that. I checked it out. I couldn't find where where that was stated, but he stated that Grant Morris himself, the writer, stated that that heat, when it was mentioned, was actually not the heat of 10 billion suns. It was actually just metaphorical, as in the heat of stories. And I called him out. I was like, that's BS. But he gave me that. I couldn't find it. So I'm still going to put that up in there as BS, as it's metaphorical. Even if it is metaphorical, you can use something as literal and metaphorical. It could be literal in the story itself, but metaphorical to the readers, right? So something is literal in that story, but is metaphorical to us, like a character warping reality. And then the metaphor is this is how the government warps, controls our minds. It's the same thing. Or like with the whole Infinite Crisis event, right? The Infinite Crisis event, when it first happened, the whole reason they were doing it was because the whole story got convoluted and the writers were like, we need to just kill everything off and then revamp everything, right? And the story it was an entity like, what's his name? The Anti-Monitor doing it, but he was, not only was he literally doing it, but he was also a metaphor for the writers and the storyboard basically just wiping the slate clean and changing everything. So not only was it a metaphorical, aspect of the story, but it was also a literal aspect of the story. So it was literal in the story itself, but metaphorical to us as the readers reading it. We're like, oh, this is what was happening. This was the events that was, transpiring outside of the comic book. So that doesn't change that anyway, even if you want to make that argument, but I just feel like that's BS anyway. But then he stated the most ridiculous BS. He stated that like, you don't understand that the bleed is stated to have enough power to destroy uh all he stated he changed it up twice actually. I don't know why. He first stated that the with a drop, and not only him but some of his fans, because he has a lot of fanboys kissing his ass, stating that, yeah, it was stated that in the comic that a drop of the bleed can destroy all the 52 universes, and he even himself stated like it could destroy the 52 multiverses with just a single drop of the bleed. Yet he had 52, all of them for the 52 universes, right? And he stated if a single drop can destroy the 52 universes, then having the bleed energy from the other 52 universes would be even more ridiculously powerful than that. So he said that the first time, but then the second time he stated that with the drop of the bleed, it can destroy the entire infinite multiverse, which is not true. Because the 52 universes compared to infinite are completely different things. So you want to upscale it even more. So here he bullshitted on one hand, which I'm going to get into why that's bullshit, even with the scan he provided. But that was not only bullshit, but then he literally, goes and upskills it to even more ridiculous level. First, he went from 52 universes to apparently now it's infinite universes. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Now, the whole bleed from 52 universes doesn't really make sense because the bleed is an infinite dimension. Like I said, it houses the universes within it anyway. So there's no such thing as the bleed from the 52 universes. The 52 universes are in the bleed anyway. It doesn't change or mean anything. He makes it sound like each universe has their own bleed. So that means there's 52 of them. So if one of them can destroy the 52 universes, then if you have 52 of them, then it's like 52 times 52. No, it's not. The bleed that they had in the crystal, I'll explain, and I'll also put it up on the video itself. Um, it doesn't argue that, and he was keep on stating this, and this is one of the other reasons why I feel like this guy can't read properly, because it did not say this. But yeah, like the way they do is basically they're able to within the higher realm, they're able to create a drop of a shard of this bleed energy, or whatever, drawing it from the infinite dimension. But he's making it sound like it comes from each universe, but that's not how it works because the bleed encompasses all of them. So it would only be one. It doesn't make sense, but whatever. But he stated that it could destroy the 52 universes because the character herself stated that with this power it can do that, but that's not true. And I will show it up to you guys right now. I'm trying to find it. So yeah, I have it right here. So Superman is talking to her, and they're talking about it. They're saying there's a substance my people call ultrium, which is known as another name in the germ worlds, bleed. Bleed, as crystals grown in the solution, so have the 52 universes of the Ori emerged within bleed. To possess even a single drop of it is to control the ultimate power capable of healing or annihilation. Yet it cannot be touched or be held or bottled, except by us, my people, monitors of Nell, masters of the Overvoid. Will be traveling through the bleed storm space between the universes, and you will need to upgrade to 4D vision to truly comprehend what you experience. So what did we just read right here? So he's stating that, well, she mentioned that it has the power to destroy, and it stated the 52 universes. That's only if you can't read fucking properly and you're looking at surface level saying, it stated 52 universes, it stated annihilation. That means it's the exact same thing. No, all she did when she mentioned the 52 universes, the only thing she mentioned about them is that when she was explaining what the bleed is, she's saying it was a dimension where the 52 universes were emerged from within, which makes sense because this, like I say, the bleed houses all the 52 universes. So that's nothing new, and that doesn't mean anything. All that means is the bleed was the one that created the 52 universes, or it was created in the bleed, and that a single drop of this can create this ultimate power that can either heal or destroy. That's it. So where the fuck did he and any of these fans that keep on arguing this, apparently because some other people in the comment section were, using this as a counter argument against me. They're stating that, well, it stated right here, 52 universes. She never stated that it will annihilate the 52 universes. All she stated was the crystals were grown from this solution, the bleed, and this same solution created the 52, or this is where the 52 universes emerged from, and that if you take a single drop of this energy from the bleed, you can either heal or destroy. That's it. There's no exact measurement of how much power the single drop has. She never stated a single drop of this could actually destroy all the 52 universes. The only mention with the bleed in the 52 universes was the 52 universes within the bleed itself. So he keeps on using this, and the other fans use this, and somehow you went from 52 to infinite, which was already ridiculous. But even with the 52 ones, it's incorrect. So this is why I'm saying this guy cannot fucking read. First, he's saying that we directly stated that, yeah, Goku cannot survive, a galaxy destroying explosion, which was not true. Then he's trying to, argue that, in this story, she literally mentioned that the 52 universes could be destroyed by a single drop. No part of that. Like, guys, literally, go back, pause, read it yourself. Read it as I put it up there. As crystals grow in the solution, so have the 52 universes of the aura emerge from within the bleed. To possess even a single drop of it is controlled the ultimate power, capable of healing or annihilating. It cannot be touched or held. What fucking part of that stated that the 52 universes was going to be destroyed? I can't explain it any, simpler than that, Like, where did you get that from? I don't know where these guys got that from. So yeah, these guys are fucking idiots. Like, his fans are also dumbasses. They're dick riding him and they're saying stupid shit that they don't know what they're talking about. I don't know how this thing disproved my argument or whatever. So yeah, he was being ridiculous about this. And then when it came to the Otherworld stuff, he also had some dumb stuff stating that, he was also calling me a troll. He's like, don't be trolling. I'm like, dude, I don't troll. You guys know me in my channel. I don't fucking waste my time trolling. I'm like legit trying to get serious, the information out correctly. If I'm ever wrong, I tell you guys, I tell you guys, I don't know enough about this. I need to probably do some research, or I tell you I'm wrong straight up. Or like with the whole Galactus thing, I was like, no, Galactus is this powerful. But then I was like, you know what? I don't know enough, and I can't just definitively say he's this powerful, so I need to do my own research. And guess what I did? I literally went through over like 600 comic books of, his appearances, and I went through all these stories to make multiple hour to 2 hour long videos for you guys. So you guys know at this point, I'm not somebody who trolls or lies or tries to manipulate shit. I'm just gonna tell you like it is. And if I'm wrong, I tell you like, yeah, I didn't want to accept that these characters are this powerful or that I was wrong, but I'm wrong. But I never troll. The most you can say is I'm wrong, but in this case, I'm not wrong. I'm actually right because I already disproven him right there. But yeah, I can't find some of the other ones because he did delete the comments. I don't know why he deleted them. Maybe he thinks because I'm a troll, or maybe because I disproven him and he couldn't make it, genuine argument back to me. But he had some also people in his comments saying some ridiculous stuff. So now the next things that I'm going to be talking about, these are actually comments from his fans, but he also chimed in to basically defend their points. But I was calling out their points, um, but yeah, they were talking about the dimension. He mentioned this a couple of times. He showed a scan from the Dragon Ball's Boost Fury game, which is kind of ridiculous, but he was showing from Boost Fury game where, King Kai mentioned the fact that, the talking about time, but all the mentions, nothing he stated that, time was not infinite there. He just mentioned time. He didn't say that time was, still a concept or whatever. And the best he had was he stated that Snake Way was considered hundreds of millions of miles away, or not hundreds of millions, hundreds of light years away from where they were in the game. But it's like, that's a game. Come on, that's ridiculous. And second of all, just because there's a distance does not mean that there isn't time. Remember, these worlds are fictional, right? You can have worlds where any possibility, you can have worlds where time doesn't exist, but there's space still there, even though time and space are intertwined. You can have that. So I don't know why he's acting like you can't have both of those. And then he's stating that the Dragon Ball fans, I don't know where he got this from, that the Dragon Balls are stating that if Goku and the other characters move into Otherworld, that means that they're out of Versal and that they transcend time and stuff. I've never stated that. He was keep on trying to argue that with me. I never say that myself. But he was also trying to say that a lot of fans say this. I'm like, that was a straw man. And he's like, no, some fans say it. I'm like, so you're going based off of a few fans, because majority of fans don't say that. I know you guys don't say that. A lot of fans don't believe that that's the case or argue that, but he himself argued that, and he's saying that this is what the Dragon Ball fans say. And it's just ridiculous. It's not true at all. But his argument for, biggest argument he used for the other world having time is the fact that King Kai was able to time Goku doing, when he was able to catch bubbles and hit Gregory on the head with a hammer. He's saying, well, if time does not exist, then how is he able to, use a timer there? I don't think you guys, I don't know how many times I have to say it. Also, they say the other world, this doesn't mean time, there's no time. They say that their time, concepts of time and distance don't mean anything. That's a different meaning than time doesn't exist here at all. Time doesn't exist means that there won't be any time, but they transcend the concepts of time and space. So they're above the concepts of time and space, which we've heard multiple times. This is a transcendent dimension. So it makes sense. It transcends concepts of time and space, meaning that time and space don't have really any relative meaning there. It doesn't really have any effect. So that's all that it pretty much means. But he's saying that the timer was used, and it's like, for two arguments that they're using and he was using is, well, how can you use timer? Because a timer is just preset. It's literally mechanical work and stuff. And some people try to argue, well, it cannot work at all because in a place without time, nothing can evolve or move forward because you need time to move, evolve and move forward. Okay, we're gonna take that argument because you guys want to be completely realistic as possible. I don't know why. If you want to be realistic as possible, then characters cannot move faster than light, because that's also not realistic. You do know these are fictional worlds. They do not have to follow the rules that we set in our world, right? Just because in our world, if there's dimension without time, that means nothing can move. That does not mean that's the case. And we know there's another good argument against that is the fact that any other fictional worlds that you see where there's dimension without time, even if you want to say, well, they cannot move unless they're beyond time. So that's the only reason. And there's no concept of time. There's like no, there's no clocks that work there. There's no timers that work there. There's no dials or whatever that work there. If you want to say that because time doesn't go forward and evolve, that would also mean that there wouldn't be, if there's no time or space, that means that there would be no particles in there because particles are space. And if we, let's say, for argument's sake, there is particles, that would mean that they would be frozen because time does not exist, right? By that logic, that means that if somebody goes to a dimension with no time, they cannot breathe, they cannot see, they cannot speak, and they cannot hear. Why? Because you need particles to do that. For your eyes to see, you need light particles. The photons that hit your eyes bounce off to your retina, go to the back of your brain, and then get bounced back off and hit the ground or whatever. And that's how we see. So when it gets darker and there's no light or less light or no light at all, we do not have that light to reflect to hit off our eyes. That's why it's harder to see. And that's why we need some like moonlight where we can see at least somewhat. So if we're in a dimension where, time stops, those light particles would also stop, meaning that they would not move, meaning that you would not have the light coming to your eyes. Also, these dimensions would not even have light in there at all. So it would be completely dark for one. Two, nobody would be able to see. Three, that means there would be either no air molecules, or if there are, for some reason, air molecules, they'll be frozen so you cannot breathe. And if there's no air molecules or it's frozen, you cannot not only breathe, you cannot hear, and you cannot speak because you need vibrations to bounce off those molecules too. So we want to be 100% scientific with it also on top of that. Then a dimension without time itself means that you would not be able to hear. Not only will you not be able to move, you're not able to hear, see, speak, or breathe. And even if you're a character who can move faster than time, you would still not be able to see, hear, speak, or breathe. But we see characters still being able to do that in these other dimensions. And having, speed past that will not fix those problems. But yet we don't see that ever happening. Why? Because that's not how these writers take into consideration. Just because they make a dimension without time space does not mean that that dimension without time and space has to be exactly 100% how it would be scientifically in our world, right? So it's just ridiculous to use our standards. It's like appealing to logic and stuff. But yeah, if we want to go specifically there, you can't do those things either. Also, a dimension without time cannot exist because you need time and space are intertwined. So if there's no time, there's no space, and if there's no space, there's no dimension. Even like realms that are in micro micro levels and micro size, right? The only reason they would still have, even as small as they are, they would still have space there. So you would still need to have space. So they would not be able to exist. That's why concepts in the real world, actually there is no such thing as a dimension without time and space in real science. But in fiction it works, right? Because in real science, if there's no time, that means nothing will move. And if that means there's no time, that means there's no space, and that means that there's no size to the realm. And if there's no size, then there's no fucking realm, right? So it's just ridiculous anyway. Uh, and yeah, so he stated that the timer thing. Also, somebody was like, well, if there was no time there, then how come he mentioned in an exact amount of time that he was able to move? And I was like, are you, this is completely dumb. The reason, the time that, Supreme Kai or King Kai was mentioning there was not the time of that realm, because they're saying is the exact same time as the Earth's time. He was using Earth's time because the speed of Goku is going in seconds. That is Earth time, right? And some people say, well, why would King Kai be referencing Earth time? Because Goku's from Earth, and he would know about Earth and all that stuff because he's able to see throughout the universe. He has the great sight. He was able to see planet Namek. He was able to know the history. He was able to know the history of the Saiyans. He was able to know the history of, Earth. Hell, when Goku first came there, he told him this planet has 10 times Earth's gravity. He literally gave him an exact measurement comparing his planet's gravity to Earth's gravity. So you're telling me that he knows the literally the gravitational pull of the Earth, but he doesn't know the time passing of the Earth? That's ridiculous. So my argument was like, the watch he created and he was using, right? The time watch he was using, it was going based off of Earth's time. So he was not referencing time in the other world. He was referencing a time from Earth because Goku's from Earth, so that makes sense. And then also due to the fact that uh what's the thing called? That he already knows about Earth's gravity. He should know about Earth's time. And then they're like mentioning also the fact that, well, he was like, gave Goku a limit on where he can get back to Earth and stuff like that, and when to move to Earth. And I was like, once again, he was tracking the time that it was in on Earth. Because I don't know why a lot of people think that just because there's a dimension where time doesn't exist, that means other dimensions, that they cannot observe other dimensions with time, and that they can't reference other dimensions with time, because their time would still work. It's just that they're not connected to this realm. So in the other world, he could still see other places where the time works. So the time he was going based off of with Goku going through Snake Wave was not Otherworld's time. It was literally just the living world and Earth's time that he was going based off of, because he was tracking how long it was. One, he was tracking how long it was taking Vegeta and Nappa to get to Earth, and then he was tracking what Vegeta and Nappa were doing on Earth the entire time. So he was calculating how long it would take for them to get to Earth and what they were going to do at that time to fight, right? So he was doing calculations off of Earth's time. That's what he was referencing. Once again, he was referencing Earth's time, and we know he knows Earth's time because he was referenced Earth's gravity already and has been inspecting Earth before and already knows stuff about it. So why would he know about how time flows on Earth? So that doesn't change the fact that time doesn't exist in this dimension just because he acknowledged time in a dimension that actually has it. He never said this the time of, this dimension, unless you believe that Otherworld's time, like time frame or whatever, or zones are exactly the same as Earth's, which is just ridiculous to make. So that was one of the arguments he was trying to make, and he's trying to defend. And he was saying that, he was also trying to say that people were for some reason he was trying to argue that Dragon Ball fans have been saying that if a character can move into Otherworld, that means they're, what's the thing called? that they're faster, have infinite speed, but nobody's ever stated that. And then he also used a dumb post, which this is the final thing I'm going to talk about. I know I've been rambling for a bit, but yeah, this is the final thing I'm going to talk about. But he also, this was actually kind of funny and ridiculous. He put up Hercule saying that, well, Hercule was able to move, yet yet you're saying that Goku being able to move in these dimensions means that he has infinite speed. Then how come Hercule was able to move there? Are you saying Hercule has infinite speed? Uh, that would have made sense if he was in Otherworld. You clearly have not watched Dragon Ball properly, and you just pick and choose and cherry pick shit, or you probably just did this on purpose. But he was not on Earth. He was, he was not in the other world. He was literally in the Supreme Kai's dimension. It never stated Supreme Kai's dimension is a dimension that's above time and space or outside of time and space. That was only stated for Otherworld and like hell and stuff like that, right? So that that argument doesn't really work because you got the wrong location. He's literally telling us, well, how is Hercule able to move there? Of its, the whole concept of time space, and he has to be infinite speed to move there. He's in the Supreme Kai's world. Never stated that was how it works there. So yeah, sorry, but it wasn't stated for that. So that's a problem there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. I'm done, but I would just want to say once again, he does not read properly the whole thing about Whis. Whis never directly stated that the galaxy exploding would kill him. He never said that. I don't know where he got that from. And specifically, the 52 universes being wiped out by the drop of the bleed energy was also never stated to destroy the 52 universes or infinite universes or anything like that. I do not know where he got that. It mentioned 52 universes, but that was just because the bleed housed the 52 universes in there, and that's what it was being explained to Superman. That was it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.